Hi, my name is Cillian Murphy and I am the Marketing Manager of Kenmare Resources. Today I'm going to give a short presentation on development work Kenmare has been carrying out in recent years to increase our production to 1.2 million tonnes of ilmenite plus co-products. Then I'm going to look at some of the reasons we are confident that now is the right time to bring our expansion to the market. It is an exciting time for Kenmare and I hope you all enjoy the presentation. Before getting into the guts of the presentation, I need to show you all our normal disclaimer slide and put it on the screen, as this presentation will include forward-looking statements, views and estimates. So turning to slide 3, I'll give an overview of Kenmare and what we do. Kenmare owns and operates at the Moma titanium minerals mine in Mozambique. Commercial production started 13 years ago now, and there remains over 100 years left of mine life at a production rate of 1.2 million tonnes of ilmenite per annum. So it's a truly massive ore body. In 2019, we sold 930,000 tonnes of ilmenite, which makes us the largest merchant supplier in the world, and we account for about 7% of global supply. At this level, we are also a major contributor to the local and national economy, representing about 6% of the total Mozambique exports in 2019. We expect this number to grow as we expand, and to date we've invested over $1.3 billion in the mine. Moving to slide 4 and taking a closer look at our operations. The Moma mine is a tier 1 resource comprising about 6.4 billion tonnes of mineral resources, supporting a mine life of over 100 years, as I said. The process is detailed on the right hand side, and as you can see, we operate both dredge and dry mining operations at the mine. Then we separate the minerals and the products out using magnetic, electrostatic and gravitational separation, so purely physical processing. We've invested in all stages of this process over the last couple of years, from the mining units through to upgrading our transshipment vessels, in order to make sure that we can provide and supply 1.2 million tonnes of ilmenite to the market. Currently, Kenmare delivers 8 different products to the mineral sands market from the operation. A key part of our strategy is to constantly deliver increased margins from the ore body, and this includes introducing a new mineral sands concentrate containing monazite to the market in 2019. Turning to slide 5, it details another crucial aspect of our strategy, and that is to ensure the sustainability of the company. Our highest priorities are the health and well-being of our employees and host communities, and we are focused on continually strengthening our safety culture. Malaria is one of the health challenges that we face at the mine, and we are proud of the reduction in malaria cases amongst our employees that you can see in the graph in the right bottom corner. It has continuously decreased over the past 3 years. We are also proud of the low environmental impact of the mine. In 2019, 90% of our power requirement was provided by hydropower. We planted almost 18,000 cassarina plants. And during the past 3 years, this number was actually over 90,000. Kenmare is committed to ensuring that local people benefit from the presence of this mine. We employ over 1,400 people by the end of 2019, and 96% of them were Mozambican. We also invest significantly in community development initiatives, such as constructing health centres and schools and installing clean water supply systems. More information about our community initiatives can be found on our website and by following us on all social media platforms. On slide 6, I want to talk in a bit more detail about the 3 projects Kenmare is delivering in order to produce 1.2 million tonnes from 2021. The first of these projects was to increase the throughput rate of one of our 2 existing wet concentrator plants, Wet Concentrator Plant B. In 2018, we increased the throughput capacity of this plant by 20% from 2,000 tonnes to 2,400 tonnes per hour. This project was delivered to scope and on budget in 2018 and has been performing well since. The second project was to introduce a new dredge and wet concentrator to the operation. This plant is smaller than the other 2 wet concentrator plants, but it targets higher grade areas of the ore body. This plant started production earlier in 2020 and is delivering HMC at its nameplate capacity. Finally, the third project was to relocate the upgraded Wet Concentrator Plant B to a new ore zone called Pilivili, 23 kilometers away. We are pleased to say we've restarted production from this plant in October. Now on slide 7, I want to just go into a bit more detail on the WCPB move. We chose Pilivili because it is a high-grade ore zone and has favourable mining conditions. The higher heavy mineral grade means that we expect more than 50% of the total heavy mineral concentrate production to come from this ore zone in the coming years. As I touched on earlier, mining capacity has been Kenmare's bottleneck in recent years, and having WCPB in a higher grade ore zone means we will be able to fully utilise the existing assets at the mine. We believe this is a big step for the company, as it makes us a first quartile margin producer. To try and add a bit of context to the scale of the move, WCPB weighs 7,100 tonnes and is equivalent in size to 550 double-decker buses, and this is transported by a purpose-built road 23 kilometres down the road. So here's a short video showing that move. I hope you all found that as fascinating as I do. Now, moving to slide 9, this shows one of the main reasons we are striving for 1.2 million tonnes per annum of ilmenite. Our target is to become a low-cost producer and a first quartile margin producer. And to complete the development of the development projects underway and increase our production to the 1.2 million tonnes of ilmenite, we significantly reduce our unit costs and increase our margins. Consequently, by producing consistently at a capacity of 1.2 million tonnes per annum, Kenmare will remain profitable through the market cycle, allowing us to deliver finished products to our customers on a sustainable basis. On slide 10, I just want to touch on why we believe the market is ready to absorb Kenmare's increased production. The graph shows that from 2014 to 2020, there's been effectively no additional supply brought online to the general market. Looking back, excess supply was brought into the market in 2014, which led to unfavourable feedstock prices and reduced investment in the industry. Despite the short-term impact of COVID, we believe feedstock demand has grown over this period, and there is a deficit emerging in the market, and we are seeing it particularly in the sulfate ilmenite market at the moment. Due to Kenmare's ability to expand at a lower capital cost by utilising existing assets, we are perfectly placed to fill this gap in the short term with the expansion to 1.2 million tonnes. We do expect to see some other supply increase in 2021 also, but we think Kenmare accounts for about 50% of that increase you can see in 2021. Now taking a closer look at China and its growing importance every year really. The lighter green line in this graph shows the ilmenite that is required to meet pigment production in China, and then the darker green colour is the ilmenite available for this pigment production. So that includes ilmenite produced in country, so in China, and the ilmenite imported from other places for pigment end use. As you can see, a gap has emerged in 2020 as pigment production in China has increased. While ilmenite imports have also increased, domestic ilmenite production has decreased this year as a result of COVID, but also due to lower grades and issues at some of the major mines. This is a trend we expect to see continue as pigment production in China is expected to continue to grow, and we don't believe that sufficient ilmenite will be brought online in China to meet this. Therefore, additional ilmenite will be needed to be imported. Our products are well recognised in this market, and that's why Kenmare firmly believes that we are well positioned to meet this supply gap from 2021 onwards with our expansion. Taking a look at the titanium feedstock markets on a more global scale, we are expecting to see strong growth in feedstock demand, and this will be driven by increased chloride pigment capacity and production, primarily driven by China. This will have a significant impact on feedstock supply also. Chloride pigment production generally requires high TiO2 products. However, natural high-grade feedstocks only account for less than 10% of total feedstock supply, and this is expected to decrease in the coming years, not increase to meet the growing demand. Therefore, the growth in chloride pigment production will need to be fed with upgraded ilmenite products, namely chloride slag and synthetic rutile. You can see that in the graph on the right-hand side, showing the impact this will have on the supply of feedstocks. We expect to see a large increase in the production of upgraded ilmenite feedstocks to feed this chloride pigment growth. However, this will reduce the ilmenite available directly for use in sulfate or chloride pigment plants, and therefore we think that ilmenite available for both pigment and upgrading will be in short supply and high demand going forward, and this is where Kenmare sees its strengths. Kenmare's ilmenite products are all suitable for upgrading and for pigment production. Kenmare supplies 3 ilmenite products to the market, which accounts for approximately 17% of the merchant ilmenite supply. And these products are well recognised in the market and have very stable quality. We've been supplying them to the market for about 13 years now. And this is important because it gives our customers assurance and foresight over what they will be putting in their plants. They are confident in what they get from Kenmare. So IP1 and IP2 are sulfate ilmenite products with favourable TiO2 levels and low impurities. As a result, we do sell them to sulfate pigment, to chloride slag, synthetic rutile, and to reduced ilmenite producers. The suitability of the sulfate ilmenite products gives Kenmare a lot of flexibility in its marketing of the products. The same can be said for Kenmare's chloride ilmenite product IP3. It is used directly for producing chloride pigment, but it is also used for chloride slag and synthetic rutile production. The effect of this is it gives Kenmare a much bigger and a much more diverse customer base. And we see this as a big advantage as we move to increase our volumes into the market. As well as being diverse by the type of consumer that can use our ilmenite, we are also diverse by the countries we sell to. So we sell to over 15 countries globally and to all the major feedstock consuming regions. We think this gives us a big advantage moving to 1.2 million tonnes in 2021, but it also showed its advantages this year. COVID-19 impacted the whole world, but it definitely impacted some regions more than others. And what we found we were able to do this year was take volumes away from the region suffering most and place them where we saw more strength in the market. So this is just one example of how having a globally diversified portfolio of customer really can help us moving forward. So, bringing this all together, our development projects are nearing completion, and that allows Kenmare to deliver 1.2 million tonnes of ilmenite plus co-products to the market from next year. This will make us one of the highest margin producers in the market, and by consistently producing 1.2 million tonnes, we will be profitable through the pricing cycles, and that will lead to increased returns to our shareholders. We believe that the market fundamentals are there and are positive to receive our increased production. We've seen a strong market in 2020 despite COVID-19, and with global growth expected to return to positive numbers from next year, we expect demand for titanium feedstocks to increase also. And as demand grows, we believe that Kenmare will be ideally placed to supply the market and fill the gap that we see opening up. So now I'm at the end of my presentation, but if you would like to stay up to date with Kenmare and what we are doing, please follow us on our social media accounts and look to our website for further information. Finally, I would like to thank you all for listening to me and thank you for your time. If you have any questions, please submit them and we will do our best to answer them. Or if you want to reach out to me personally, my details are on the screen and I'd be pleased to talk to you. Thank you again.